Okay. Ready. Supergirl starring Millie Alcock is the newest DCU movie to come out. Today, actually. I haven't seen it yet as of writing or recording this video, but I have seen it when I'm editing. I'm sorry, I'm still a liar. I am very excited for this movie, honestly. I really like the comic it's adapted from, even if it was written by a war criminal. But anyways, I'm gonna go see the movie now. Be right back. Okay. I liked it. Supergirl 2026 is a very, very loose adaptation of 2021's Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and is a pretty fun, if albeit strangely written and constructed, action-adventure movie with a heavy emphasis on the main character, Supergirl. Millie Alcock's Supergirl is the saving grace that makes this movie work. Even though there are good elements outside of her performance, Supergirl is what galvanizes them all and makes this movie kind of work. One of the biggest things to understand going in is that this movie is not a Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn, quippy superhero romp. Its worst moments are actually when it's trying to be that. If I'm being nice, I think this movie chooses to emulate the landscapes and color palettes of the westerns which inspired True Grit, which inspired Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. If I'm being mean, I think this movie is just kinda ugly. If I'm being nice, I think that Jason Momoa's Lobo is a really fun addition, not just to this movie, but to the new DCU. If I'm being mean, I think that he's a studio note manifest from, wait, this better not be a fucking girl movie. If I'm being nice, I think that Creme is there. And if I'm being mean, we'll get to Creme.
My reactions was me being nice.
Okay, and we're gonna get to spoilers now, so either go see the movie or get blacked out drunk now so that you can watch this, forget about it, and then go see the movie. So, first off, this movie is not a good adaptation of Woman of Tomorrow. In fact, if you're looking at it that way, it's a pretty shitty adaptation. Woman of Tomorrow is a True Grit-inspired pseudo-western which has a heavy focus on the emotional status of its main character, Kara. But it's also an artistic masterpiece with vibrant colors, visually spectacular moments in nearly every issue, with inclusions like Comet the Superhorse, and finally, it's a road trip movie taking Kara and Ruthie across a wide swath of the galaxy. Supergirl 2026 is a character-focused story about Kara, and really just her. No space dragons, no dinosaur planets, no purple people genocide, not even a climactic moment where Kara has to ride the super horse to the end of the universe where there's no color or, like, time and stuff. Okay, I'm all over the place here. Sorry, I haven't made a new movie review in a minute. Actually, hundreds of thousands of minutes.
Okay.
Millie Alcock as Kara Zor-El is far and up and away my favorite aspect of this movie. Not only do I think she's a great addition to the DCU, but I think she does a great job at portraying the modern version of Supergirl. She seems self-assured, but also self-hating. She wants to be selfish, but also deeply cares about people in general. She's not only also very hot, but looks fucking perfect in the Supergirl suit, which also looks perfect. And she's even a representative for us hot blondes with kinda fucked up bottom teeth. Oh, and she can, like, cry on command, which for playing Supergirl is really helpful. Girl is sad. The flashbacks to Krypton and Argo City are done really well. I especially like the way they show the one with Krypto towards the beginning of the movie and then reveal the actual context of that scene later. The only thing that I think is kind of weird about her character in this movie is how many Earth references she makes. Like, this isn't Millie Alcock's fault, obviously. I just really hope they tone these down in the future because it feels so weird for her. I also just really enjoy the way that she fights in this movie. She does a lot of like spins and kicks and really uses her speed. Plus she spams heat vision like she's being directed by Zack Snyder, and it's kinda awesome. A couple of my favorite visual moments are also just directly about Supergirl. The opening montage of her life in space, ending with her ship being just so alone, is perfect. And the shot towards the end of the movie of Kara flying through different levels of a planet's atmosphere was beautiful.
Get some rest, tall child!
I keep going back and forth on Ruthie in this movie. Her actress does a good job at portraying the awkward formality of her family and culture, but I just think that that's a more difficult emotion to convincingly act than it is to write and draw. I do think she portrays being forlorn and revenge-driven well though, and I believe her growing friendship with Kara. But also, like with Kara, I don't think any of her funny moments are very good, but emotional ones like the don't freak out with Kara in the cave are great. I just don't think the humor in this movie is very good. Lobo is such a weird part of this movie. I think Jason Momoa is a pretty solid portrayal of Lobo. Honestly, I haven't read a ton of comics with Lobo in them, but I like him as our new DCU Lobo. Can I say Lobo again? But his role in this movie is also very removable. Almost like he was added at some point after the first draft of the script and then was never actually made, like, integral to the story. He shows up after one of the bar action scenes, and it's so sudden and jarring that it feels like when you're playing, like, Destiny with a buddy, and then partway through, a random guy joins your party, and you're just like, oh, well, we're with him now. I like him in the action scenes, his costume is fantastic, and I actually think he has the best strike rate on his jokes. And then at the end of the movie, they cut back to him during Supergirl and Krem's final confrontation, like, a couple times. And it is the most added and post shit I've ever seen in my life.
Cable was then infected by the techno-organic virus.
Krem was, and is, my least favorite aspect of this film. I think that condensing his backstory from being a Kingsguard who joins the Brigands to just the Brigand Captain is both efficient screen adaptation and makes him less interesting. I guess I like his character quirk of needing to eat in every scene. I think they portray his random and wanton cruelty in a compelling way, but Jesus Christ, I fucking hate looking at him. I don't think his metal-studded face is very interesting to look at all, and I think that his actual suit is like straight up ugly, and not in the way the landscapes in the film are ugly but kind of beautiful. He just looks like shit, and I hate it. This is something they really should have stuck closer to the comic on, especially since this movie is a lot more visually plain, which I don't even hate. But I really think they should just cast, like, Will Poulter or one of the other just kind of plain-looking guys of Hollywood, and just let him be evil and crazy and stuff, like he could be sitting there at the table eating that pie and go like, bleh. And while I do like how Woman of Tomorrow ends, I really like that Supergirl kills Krem. That made me really happy.
Hey, where is my dog?
I love Crypto, he's such a handsome little boy, and all his emotional scenes with Kara made me cry because I'm a big loser who loves animals like a dork. I'm also just going to talk about everything else I liked about the movie now. All the Superman appearances were great. David Cornsweet is just a version of this character I really enjoy, and he also contrasts Kara really well. And I really liked him talking about Kansas. There needs to be more positive Kansas representation in media. We've got Superman, The Wizard of Oz, and that Stephen King story about The Rock. I had to get used to the more dull color palette here, but I ended up liking it quite a bit by the end. Space in this movie is really lonely, and it really reflects where Kara is emotionally when the movie begins. And the landscapes are very plain and naturalistic in a way that does remind me of the westerns that this movie is like ancestrally inspired by. Plus, it makes the Supergirl suit look like really amazing. When she puts on the suit for the last action scene in the end of the movie, I know I've mentioned already, but the Supergirl suit is fucking perfect. But I do wish that the Brigands designs were either more plain, like in the comic, or more colorful to contrast everything else. But besides that, I liked the visuals of the movie for the most part, outside of some occasionally ugly green screen and CG, but way more of the special effects looked fantastic than not. There's also one more thing I have to acknowledge. My unending bias towards DC Comics. And that you should like, comment, and subscribe. I did like this movie, and I legitimately think it's pretty good, but seeing a Supergirl and a Lobo who look like they were peeled off of a comic book and put on the screen raises the score of this movie like 10 billion% to me. I was a little disappointed that there weren't any more additions to the DC universe that we didn't know about going in. I was really hoping for a Brainiac tease, but I like this version of Lobo, and I love this version of Supergirl. So, I'm happy with what we got. No, Maka, stop it. Maka, baby, get down. Overall, Supergirl is a pretty solid superhero movie. I would go check it out if you're a DC Comics fan, but I'm in my own apartment right now, just sitting here, and I'm sweating, so I'm gonna go, like, sit in my underwear in a pile of ice or something. I hate the summer so fucking much. Anyone who tells you that their favorite season is the summertime, they are either currently a child or they have the brain of a child, and I will not accept any other explanation. Bye, guys.